Moscow.
Beautiful.
Politics.
Mr. Oleg.
Russian people.
Kind.
Snow.
Ice skating.
The best part about studying in Russia.
People.
And my last question for you before finishing this interview. If you go back, or better to say, when you will go back, because it's just a matter of time, what is the first thing that you are going to do as soon as you land?
If it is winter, I'll go ice skating. If it is summer, I'll go meet my friends.
Oh, I'm in world famous Red Square, where we have world famous Saint Basilica Church and Kremlin and Lenin's Mausoleum. Oh, this is a beautiful place. This particular square has been a very favorite spot of mine in Moscow. Being a student and also a person who likes history a lot, each and every building in Moscow has a story in it, you see. And it has been a great place to be in around the New Year time. Moscow and the Red Square is wholly decorated with all the lights, and it's really beautiful.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's special episode. I'm Dr. Julien, head of the Department of Political Science and director of the Allen Center for Eurasian Studies. Today we are diving into a fascinating conversation with one of our very own, Gagan Maileshwar, who recently spent 6 months in Russia as an exchange student at Financial University under the government of the Russian Federation. Now, let's be honest. When most people hear Russia, Eurasia, Central Asia, their first thoughts might be Dostoevsky, Putin, vodka, Tetris, and maybe some very dramatic chess games. But what does it actually mean to study there? What it's like to live in Moscow? And how does an Indian political science student navigate the world of post-Soviet studies, international relations, and economic policy right at the heart of Eurasia? Well, that's exactly what we will explore today. Gagan is not just a student. He's a leader, he's a thinker, he's an explorer in the best sense of the word. He has been a crucial part of our department, actively leading student clubs, organizing intellectual discussions, and even interviewing top journalists and academics at our Alliance Literary Festival. Now he's back from Russia with new perspectives, new stories, and maybe a few good Russian phrases to share with us today. So let's get into it. Gagan, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much.
Or better to say, Добро пожаловать.
Добро пожаловать.
Спасибо большое. Gagan, first thing, what was your reaction when you landed in Moscow? And was it everything you expected, or were there some surprises?
Well, Moscow was my dream, for which I had dreamt for 6 months before the exchange program happened. And the moment I landed in Domodedovo, I was very, very happy, to be honest. But there was a lot of difficulties to navigate in the airport, particularly. A few of the nameplates were in Russian. Well, it was a great thing that you taught me a little Russian before going to Russia. And then I talked to another person, a buddy who was supposed to pick me up. It was a great thing. The experience, I don't think I will have such an experience again in my life. That particular point of life where I feel I achieved something great, right? I was the first person in my family to go to abroad and study some program. I felt really great at that particular point. Yeah.
Would you say that Russia met your expectations? What were your stereotypes, your expectation about Russia and Russians?
I expected the worst, sir. I expected the worst, and I had no expectations. And the experience I had was a lot better than what I expected. Be it with the people I interacted with or a few of the occasions I met with. Everything was better than what I expected, I would say.
Even Russian winter?
It was quite harsh on me, but yeah, it was great. Good experience, right? Yeah.
Was it the first time that you saw snow?
Yeah, that moment also is quite remarkable, and I don't think I'll forget it any time. It was in November. That's when I saw snow for the first time in my life. It was pretty mesmerizing. It was very beautiful, and I went to snow skating, and it was amazing, ice skating. Everything about Moscow right now is really great for me. I loved it.
Did you get to interact very often with Russian students, Russian professors? What stood out about their approach to discussion, debates, learning in general?
Yeah, what we hear about Russians that they're very cold, it's pretty true. In a sense that it's very difficult to approach them. Well, if I want to talk to them at the beginning, it's very difficult to approach. But once we approach and once we are close to them, they'll be very, very kind and very, very helpful to us. I had my group mates. I took classes with 3 different groups, and I tried to talk to all of them. It was difficult to talk to them, but once I did, they were of great help. I don't think my 6 months of exchange program would be this good, a memorable 6 months without any of those people. It was amazing, sir. And the way they approach, it's true that they're not. It's not easy to talk to them, but yeah, right. That's what. Yeah.
Did you meet only Russian students or also international students there?
I met people from Indonesia. I had same exchange students like me. People from Indonesia, Afghanistan, and I met someone from China. I met someone from Vietnam. It was a great thing to actually, talk to the people who are from different area and also different perspectives. The way they think, for example, people from Vietnam and people from India, the way we think mostly, unknowingly, we are collective in nature. And Russian society is comprised of both collectivist and individualist ideas. So I used to see that it was very evident while I was talking to anyone. Political science, being a political science student, I could see politics in everyday life. People are political in some way that without unknowingly they were political. Yeah.
So would you say that at our department we trained you well, we equipped you well to survive in Russia?
Sure, sir. I would have to thank you for that because, yeah, again, I think the point where I learned basic Russian, like alphabets of Russian, let's say basic words, Privyet, Здравствуйте, and Добро пожаловать, Spasiba, Bagage, airport, those, I think they actually had a pivotal role in me having a great experience in Russia.
And how did it feel to you being a foreigner?
That was, I was very curious about it when I went to Russia because I see you as a foreigner every day in university. So somewhat like if just I'm walking across the street, people look at our face, right? It feels weird sometimes, but actually, when I'm talking to someone and I say I'm from India, they were quite happy about many things. They used to say namaste. As soon as I say I'm Indian, they used to say namaste. And then few of the girls used to say yoga because they do it. There are big yoga centers in Moscow. And then few of the grandmas, babushkas, diedushkas, they used to mention about films. Bollywood films, which even I haven't watched. So it was quite great experience. Apart from Moscow, I went to other parts of Russia, right? It was quite different. For example, Kazan, I went to Kazan. There, most of the people knew English. People I met, most of them knew English, and they were trying to talk to me. They were trying to help me. So one thing I would like to mention is wherever I went, whichever part of Russia I went to, people were very kind and they were really helpful. I'm very thankful for them.
How do they see India and Indians in Russia?
Apart from all the geopolitics we see, diplomatic things, I think they are very happy with talking to any Indian for that matter. I went to a family dinner, one of my friend. We were talking about all these things. My friend's dad is from Soviet time, right? So he was mentioning about Soviet films, Indian films which were in Soviet time. They used to hear story from their mothers and fathers. Like Indian movies were the only joy they had at that particular point of time. Around 17th and 80s, they used to have a lot of problems in Soviet Union. And actually Bollywood movies were the place where they could go and lose themselves, yeah. So they have very good opinion about us. You can see exceptions in every places. Apart from exceptions, it was great experience.
And what about Indian food? Do you think that Indian food is popular in Russia?
Very much. There were nearly 10 to 12 Indian restaurants just in Moscow. And I went to different parts of Russia, right? Even there, there were a lot of Indian restaurants. One thing is that their spice scale is not our spice scale. So when I go to Moscow restaurant, they'll make food according to Moscow scale, which will be very less. But they really like the spice. It's something a lot different from what they ate. If I have to speak about Russian food, it's too bland, sir. I couldn't take it, to be honest.
You don't even have a favorite dish?
Cutlet, chicken cutlet. It's okay, but apart from that, it was very difficult. I mean, honestly, I used to cook a lot, so I cooked for myself. But Russian cuisine, it's good. It's different to try for once, but it was difficult for me. Being an Indian who eats a lot of spice, it was quite difficult. Yeah.
And what about entertainment? I know that you are an athlete. You have participated in many sport activity. You were skating, for example. You went to hockey game as well.
Yeah, right. So when we say hockey to Russians, only thing they think is ice hockey. They don't know field hockey, and many of them are how we have cricket as the game we actually worship. They worship ice hockey. Many of the people, they love ice hockey, they play. I went to one of the game, it was great. I mean, the spirit they have towards games, it's amazing. For example, Financial University itself had whole complex of sports complex where they had swimming, gymnastics, ice hockey, field, court, and many things. It's great to know that they are engaged both in academic and also sports activities. I think it's great for any student to experience.
Yes, I believe it's one of the assets of higher education in Russia, this strong legacy from the USSR, sport, cultural activity, at the same time as academic excellency.
Another thing I forgot to mention was about ice hockey. I would say ice hockey is the best thing which happened to me in Moscow. I used to do roller skating in India. So when I did ice skating there, first time I fell for 5 times, and second time twice, but third time I did it. Actually, I was better than many of the other Russians, so I was very proud of that, and it was a great experience, sir.
Ice skating is one of the best thing I did in Moscow. I did skating for the first time in Moscow, and I will remember it forever. It is an amazing sport, and I enjoyed it the most. Yeah, Moscow has been great to me for the last 5 months. The people are really kind. They help you, and I suppose they will help to all the people who come to Russia. I recommend you guys to come here.
Did you experience any challenge with a language barrier? Is it difficult to survive in Moscow, in Russia, without speaking fluently Russian?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So once what happened was, I went to a photocopy shop where there was Russian babushka, Russian grandmothers, right? That's what is babushka. So she was quite conservative, like old Soviet conservative grandma, right? And she made me speak in Russian. I mean, it's okay. I'm okay with speaking in Russian. She was telling me to speak in Russian. So it was quite difficult. I couldn't understand what she was saying. This was the beginning point, like second month or first month of my journey in Russia. So you might actually meet with situations like that, but it's just exceptions. It happens once in a while. It happens in every part of the world, I would say. And you can definitely survive without knowing Russian. Now, though, in the time of technology, a digital age, we have phones. You go to Russia, download Yandex Translator, and you can live in any part of Russia. But if you go to rural part of Russia, I think it will be beneficial for anyone who goes to Russia if they know Russian, right? Yeah.
You know that Russia has a very vast and prestigious culture with a rich literature, music, cinema, and its legendary hospitality, I would say. But if there is something fun with Russian culture that maybe foreigners don't know, it is that Russia is a very special place where things which can only happen in Russia, and Russian people like things that happens only in Russia. Have you experienced any situation where you realize that this could have never happened in India? It's a typical Russian situation.
Yeah, a lot of them. For example, I went to my family dinner, I told, right? So my friend's father, he hunts moose. He hunts moose and he hunts many of the other things. And we see in pictures when we remember Putin or when we remember Russia, we remember hunting. Like this Russian guys taking guns and going for hunting and sitting on bears, right? All of these things, it's pretty not exactly true, but near to truth because they hunt. They go to Siberian region or any forest. This person, so my family dinner I went, right? The head of the family, he hunted moose, and we had moose that particular day. It was great. I don't think in India we can hunt a deer and have dinner. Yeah, right, something like that. Great, yeah.
Gagan, you study here political science in India with us, and now you have seen also political science in Russia. You have seen the Russian side of a coin, I would say. And did being in Moscow change your political views or your impression on India-Russia relations or the evolving multipolar world order?
Yeah, one thing is that we consume a lot of news and we have a few perceptions about few things, be it relationship between India and Russia or our perception of West, how Russia would think about West. It was a great opportunity for me to explore those things. I took political science class and I had a great professor, Mr. Oleg. It was a great class. And we used to speak about Indian perspective, actually. They wanted to know how Indian thinks about India. So we used to talk about democracy and what is democracy for them, right? So, their idea of socialism. Since they're out of socialism now, what do they think about socialism? And how do they think about US? Even if there is clash and all the conflicts between US and Russia, most of the dream of most of the Moscow Russians is to go and settle in US. They still want that. And another thing I got to know is many of the citizens, like UK citizens from London, they're shifting to Moscow. So it's just that when I think about this, so when I'm from Bangalore, when I go to Moscow, I feel good. It's a different city, new experience, I'm just excited. I think it's same with all other citizens in the world. Politically speaking, UK citizen want to come and settle in Moscow. Moscow citizen want to go and settle in US. So apart from all the geopolitical tensions, conflicts we see, how each and every citizen feels, it's absolutely different. There is war between Ukraine and Russia, but people in Russia, they're very peaceful. They're enjoying their life, to be honest.
Yeah. Again, you're someone that I know for already more than 3 years. You're almost part of family, if I may say. And you're someone who I know is always looking to grow, to learn, to experience new things, to push your boundaries. And what is the biggest personal transformation that you've had because of this experience in Russia?
So I met with a different culture, different cuisine, different race, different language, even different kind of education system. I think the point where I felt empowered after Russia was when I understand that the way I speak here, right, after Russia, it's different. I can feel it. That is because of my experience with other cosmopolitan nature, let's say. Moscow is a cosmopolitan city, for that matter, because you can see, you can actually talk to or you can meet people from each and every parts of the country. I met a person from Mexico, I met a person from Peru, I met people from Africa, I met people from Asia, Vietnam, as I told, Vietnam, Indonesia, China. It was a great thing to know different perspectives. We studied those things from textbooks, and textbooks are done by someone who has some perspective. So I'm actually not knowing what that person wants me to know, right? So here I had that opportunity to understand different people. It was a great feeling to understand different cultures from different perspectives, from their perspectives. I was asking Vietnamese about Vietnamese culture. So he used to tell me what actually does it mean to be a Vietnamese, right? So that experience, I don't think I can get it if I was not taking my exchange program. And it actually pushed my limits. me learning Russian was difficult. Learning Russian is not easy. You know it more than me. Learning any language for that matter is not easy. And using those particular limited amount of words and leading life is next level of challenge. I go to some place in Moscow and I try to take up the conversation in the limited amount of words I know. It was a difficult task, but I did it. And I feel pretty good about it, proud about it. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to your juniors, for example, who would like to go abroad for continuing their studies and maybe sometimes, doubt about their capacity of adapting to a new environment? How might you help them?
Sir, humans are meant to adopt. We adopt. Even if we think we don't, we do. What they can do is they can prepare in a way that, for example, while I was going to Moscow the previous semester, a person, Ivan, he's from the same university I was in. He came to Alliance University. I talked to him. I got to know many things. How I should be prepared for the winter, for example. And I got to know many things. So when I went to Moscow, I at least expected few basic things. So they can do this. And language. I think language is very important. If you're going to France, at least know few French words, like basic alphabets, or the words which you'll see in airport, right? Be it any nation, if those nations speak any other languages than English, know basic words, because that will make your life very easy. It might not actually, it doesn't matter for you to have like a study exchange program. In academics, it might not actually be effective, but if you're leading life for 6 months there, I think it will be pretty effective if you know the local language. Apart from that, cuisine, you might, if you're not fine with that cuisine, I'm sure that each and every part of the world has Indian restaurants. So you can taste Indian restaurants. And homesickness. It was fine for me because I'm in Bangalore for last 5 years. I've been away from my family. So it was not quite difficult for me. But in this age of internet and all of the digital media, I used to call my mom and dad every day. They were very scared. So there are many hurdles, but there are also ways to tackle them. So, and also, if you want to go to Russia is a great place. I recommend you guys to go there because people are very, very kind. At least the people I met are very, very kind from Financial University. And yeah, it's a great place to go. It's very beautiful. Each and every part of Russia is beautiful. It's a vast land to explore. If you are an explorer, if you want to know many things, if you want to experience new things, go to Russia.
Do you have a favorite place in Moscow?
Videnka, sir. Videnka, because I went to Videnka both in summer, autumn, and also in winter. When I went in autumn, it was beautiful with a lot of lights and waterfalls and beautiful buildings with lights. But when I went in winter, I did skating in Videnka. It was covered with snow. Everything was white and it was very beautiful. I can't forget Videnka. Yeah, that's my favorite spot in Moscow.
Gagan, before winding up, I would like to give you some words and I would like you to give me just the first thing that comes to your mind. Moscow.
Beautiful.
Politics?
Mr. Oleg.
Russian people?
Kind.
Snow?
Ice skating.
The best part about studying in Russia?
People.
And my last question for you before finishing this interview. If you go back, or better to say, when you will go back, because it's just a matter of time, what is the first thing that you are going to do as soon as you land?
If it is winter, I'll go ice skating. If it is summer, I'll go meet my friends. I have few friends without whom my 6 months would have been worse. I'll meet those people. I would like to thank all of them. My buddy who was assigned to me by Financial University, Lisa, and Ivan, and my friends, Camelia, Valeria, and Afghani friend, Abdullah. Those people actually made my journey very interesting and memorable. I would like to thank all of them. And I would like to thank you, sir,
Oh, that's too
for
kind.
providing all the opportunity. Yeah.
That's too kind. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
This part of Red Square has its very famous and important shopping mall in the Red Square. It's beautiful inside, and it is decorated for the new year, and it's beautiful. Uh, Throughout this 5 months, many of my friends helped me through the process during the semester with all of the subjects. The university has a buddy system, and they allotted me a buddy who helped me throughout the 5 months, be it problem with visa or any other documentation problems. She helped me, and also in my academics, of course, I did have a lot of problems, but there were a lot of friends, and one of them is Leo. I think many things would have been difficult for me if not for him. And he's going to talk now.
So, hello everybody, greetings from Russia. This is me, the guy who tried to help as much as he could. And you may be wondering, why would I do that? Don't you have too much time on my hands? Well, actually, this is because we Russians are very helpful to other people, and especially to our Indian friends. So if you want to visit Russia, do not hesitate. We will be waiting for you, and we will find you, and we will help you.